The next leadership competency that we're going to discuss is decision making and ethics. And I want to start that talking about 3 levels of decision making. And this is a really, really important, not only individual leadership dynamic, but also an organizational dynamic as well. The 3 stages or the 3 steps of decision making are: the highest level of decisions are strategic decisions. Those are the ones that affect the overall direction and mission and vision of an organization. Next level down is something called tactical decisions. Those are generally made around resource movement, staffing, budgeting, scheduling, things like that. And the final level, the lowest level of decision making, is called operational decisions. Those day-to-day interactions that all the time, or certainly most of the time, have some kind of an impact on our end user or our customer. Those are the decisions that are very routine, they happen all the time. Now, where this becomes important in leadership and where it becomes important from an organizational dynamic standpoint is it is critical that the right level of folks are making the right decisions. So let's start with that lowest level. Operational level decisions need to be made by line level team members. That team member standing in front of a customer is the one that has to be able to make that routine operational based decision. It doesn't make any sense that, when I'm issuing a refund or there's something a shade out of the ordinary, that line level team member has to raise their hand and summon a supervisor over, because what happens there is we bottleneck the entire decision making process. And I'll talk about another risk point that's even more detrimental in just a second as well. I oftentimes tell a story about going to a grocery store and getting a cart full of groceries that is, $99.50, and you write a personal check, and that cashier at the grocery store gladly accepts it. You throw a Snickers bar on top of that same basket of groceries, and now the total is over $100. Suddenly that cashier has to call up, and somebody from the mysterious mirrored area has to come down and look at you and look at the check and initial it. And in that process, where the risk really is, the risk differential, the operational decision risk differential, is 1 Snickers bar. We've now inconvenienced one customer plus everybody else behind them, and that individual cashier has lost some credibility in the process as well. We always try to talk about, when we're looking at organizations, a 90-10 rule. 90% of the operational decisions that are needed to move in any kind of organization need to be made by that line level team member. Second level up, that tactical decision set, that's the level that needs to be made by supervisors and managers. They need to be concerned with scheduling and budgeting and overtime authorizations and things like that, while our senior level leaders are going to be the ones that are mostly concerned with overall directions and strategies and new projects and, things like that. Now, I mentioned before the real risk factor when that doesn't occur. And I got to tell you, I've seen this multiple times, and every time I see it, it scares the daylights out of me. If we have supervisors and managers that are jumping into operational decisions, and, they have to be the one that authorizes an override, they have to be the one that authorizes a refund, and they have to sign off on certain things. You have managers and supervisors jumping into that. What happens is, then there becomes a vacuum that occurs. When the supervisors and managers are making the operational decisions, that means our senior team is working more on tactical decisions and moving resources, and here is the real point of pain. That means, organizationally, nobody is making the strategic decisions. And in fact, I'll go as far as saying this: when you see an organization that lacks any kind of strategic direction or appears to be motionless and directionless, it's oftentimes because of that phenomenon. People are pushing decisions down too far, and lower levels are getting involved in operating level decisions when they shouldn't be. And what happens is, then nobody's minding the store when it comes to strategy and innovation and large level tactical approaches. So really work hard in making sure the right people are making the right decisions.